Rafe.
A present for you and your guests.
That's a wild boar.
No, that's a wild pig. That's a wild boar.
Notting. Ham.
Hello, and welcome to The Pond, the strange corner of YouTube, where we analyze Disney villains, do reviews, have deep dives, and highlight cows.
We got her out. She's unstuck. Doing okay? Yeah.
And here on The Pond, we have a goal. To find the darkest, foulest, most evil of villains. We're basically looking for this.
You could have just let me go, and perhaps I would have spared you.
But in Disney form. And how we're going to achieve this is through a formula. Not by opinion, no opinion, no polls. Just a formula. If you want to know more, go here. I am your host, the Bullfrog, and the man not behind the camera is the Newt.
Face reveal at 100,000 subscribers.
School is robbing us of him. Give him a break. We need him.
Help me! Help me!
Until he comes back, the camera and the editing is 100% my fault. But the introduction is done. Let's get into it. Let's analyze Prince John. Before we can go deeper into Prince John's design, we need to talk about the budget of the movie Robin Hood. Because it was a smaller budget than normal Disney movies, to the point that they recycled a lot of animation from their library to a lot of characters in the movie. But Prince John wasn't a victim of the budget.
Yes, I knew it! I knew it!
Far from it. He was the biggest benefit from it. It's kind of like the director, the producer, the writers. Everyone knew we can't cheapen Prince John. Most of our budget is going to animating him.
Excellent.
And it is pretty good, because look how he moves. The character has so much energy, it's like he was injected by sugar. But he uses this energy to whine and complain. It's pretty funny.
I am king! King! King!
He's like a whiny kid with a tantrum. It's just too adorably hilarious to not look at. It's not, I feel sorry for the parents. It's more like, this is what the kid is like here. I can't wait to see what he's like at home. Oh, how many gray hairs he's causing mom and dad. That's what they're doing with Prince John. It's very entertaining. I love it. And what adds a little bit more to the detail is the fact that he is a little brother wearing Big Brother's clothes. And everything about it is too big. He is little and little brother. Look how big the robes are, how big the crown is. It's too comedic, it's too well drawn. And what adds a little bit more to the detail is the voice actor, Peter Ustinov.
Looks like he also is an Academy Award winner. Interesting. So that would mean the first voice actor who won an Academy Award, who played in a Disney movie, was a villain. And would be Prince John of all characters. Now that's something interesting. Weird, too.
This guy really overdoes it. I just can't help but picture the director going, okay, this is a whiny, snivelly character. Can you do that? And Peter Ustinov just went, hold my beer. The guy is just too energetic with his voice. He's too whiny with his voice. and yet he has that airy aristocracy to it. It just adds to the sizzle. And the fact that there's too many moments where he has a tantrum, it's just too hilarious.
The last drop out of those insolent musical peasants.
Even though he knows the character's whiny, he's not afraid to show off the character has a level of darkness to him. There are moments in the movie where he is threatening.
Forgive me a cruel chuckle. Power. My men will be ready. Ha ha. Double the taxes. Triple the taxes. Keep your snake eyes open for you know who.
I think you can just gush over the voice acting, and it's just too good. I'm sorry, it's too funny, to the point that whenever I see him on screen with his movement and the animation, and you add the whiny, sniffly voice, it just makes me laugh. Too many scenes make me laugh, and honestly, if the movie was being played right now, whenever it's me analyzing it, I would probably have a grin just as this big, and I'm trying to hold back a laugh or two, because Prince John is just too hilarious.
You have nice manners.
One aspect about Prince John, though, that I enjoy is the coloration. Because when we first meet him, you have that red robe with the mink fur on the side, and it's him looking royal. But after Robin Hood steals it, he wears this blue robe with the white mink fur. And the reason why I find that hilarious is this is a king. He should have doubles of that robe. But it's almost like Prince John's going, that robe was the best out there. There was no replacement. So I am regulated to these blue robes. They still are too big for me, but I wanted those red ones in particular. I know this is going into headcanon. I'm against it when it comes to analyzing, but I can't help but just go, those red robes were just too perfect. There wasn't a double. But Prince John is a cat. And here in the pond, we actually analyze the claws of cat-like characters. Why? It's crazy what they go into. And this one drove me nuts, to the point that I can't understand it. I know there's something there. There's a level of depth and the reasons behind why Prince John's claws are like this. But please, I'm going to you, the audience. Help me. Help me understand if I am seeing something or not. But I'm sure you guys see something in there. If you look at the comments section of our Disney villains analysis, there are philosophers and people that are just amazing. And this is me pulling up the bat signal, asking for your help. Can you see something where I can't? Because let me show you. Let me show you what I mean. Here. When Prince John is showing the emotion that he's happy, look at his claws. Because there's a moment where he has them out fully for 5 seconds. But there's also a moment where you see the tip of his claw for 5 seconds also. When Prince John feels threatened, his claw is fully out for 8 seconds. But the tip of the claw is out for 17 seconds. When he is asleep, his claws are fully out for 25 seconds on his hands. On his feet, his claws are also out for 16 whole seconds, while the tip of his claws are out for 10 seconds. In the movie, I know he sucks on his thumb a lot. Mommy issues. One of the best parts of the design, I forgot to mention. Sorry. When the movie highlights on his thumb, and his claw is out fully for 13 seconds. And when Prince John is showing himself that he is a royal, where he is a king, and that is during the time when there's the archery competition, we do see his claws fully out for 3 seconds. But when Prince John is feeling threatened, again, at another time of the movie, probably later on. His claws are fully out for 11 seconds. He has his claws fully out when he's showing the emotion of miserable for 5 whole seconds, while the tip of his claw is at 8 seconds. All the time is estimatedly, and I'm sure I messed it up, but there's a lot of depth there. There's a lot of creative choices there, and I don't understand it. I don't get it, but I'm sure there's something being told there, whether it's psychological or presentational. There's something there, and I want you to help me. But before you think we're done,
shut up!
We notice a pattern. When Walt Disney was alive, there was a huge population of Disney villains he highlighted green, to the point that we created the Green Club. Why do we create this? We don't know. There has to be a standard there. And when Disney was celebrating 100 years, and they decided we're going back to Disney villains, that Disney villain had a theme of green. And Prince John, due to those green emeralds, is in the Green Club. You may be saying, isn't that a little, not that much? A large population have green eyes, and Cruella de Vil has green smoke. All you need is green. That's all you need.
You're in the band.
There's a lot of depth. The performance is perfect, and I love it. I give it a 4 out of 4.
You're beautiful.
We discovered a way how to analyze presents. This is a formula within our own formula.
Like a taco within a taco? A double-decker taco supreme.
Well, kinda. We begin with the introduction. And the introduction of Prince John is very uncinematic. It's just establishing the character, which is really good. It's really well put. We know his goals and what he likes.
Taxes, beautiful, lovely taxes.
We discovered how he got this power.
It was your idea. I hypnotized him and...
I know. And sent him off on that crazy crusade.
And also his weaknesses.
Mother always did like Richard best.
Mommy issues. Actually, that is a not bad introduction. We're not seeing the evil, we are seeing the character.
Forgive me a cruel chuckle.
That's very well put together, I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
With Prince John's history, it's part of a long list of the mythology of Robin Hood and the vast history of the many renditions of Robin Hood.
Overtaxed, overworked, and paid off with a knife, a club, or a rope.
Why, you speak treason.
Fluently.
That if you do not stop levying these evil taxes, I shall lead the good people of England in a revolt against you.
Steals money from my pocket, forcing me to hurt the public, and they love him for it.
This is just Disney's look on it, and it's a more family-friendly way. Part of the mythology of Robin Hood is the taxes.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
And Prince John uses that as a threat throughout this entire movie, is taxes, finances. This is him at being him. The more you look at it, though, and analyze it, and watch the movie, the promise and threat of taxes goes into the environment, to the point that I have to hit pause on this analysis.
Really?
A, it'll make this segment way short, but B, we're going to go more deeper into this in the acts of villainy. So we're just hitting pause. We'll come back to it, but we are not done. We still have Prince John's time, and for that we have to go to the handy dandy notebook. And some of you are maybe wondering, why are we going to talk about the time of Prince John, and why are we doing it? Well, this is not a tier list. We are trying to find Disney's #1. We're going to put numbers to these characters. Right now, these are groupings. Later on in this goal, we are going to compare and contrast each and every one of these villains. And timing will help us with that. And Prince John is on screen 15 minutes and 50 seconds, estimatedly. And his presence, this may be a little foreshadowing in when we analyze the acts of villainy and go more into what we just hit pause with, is a 3 out of 4.
I like that. You know I do. Ah! Power! Forgive me a cruel chuckle.
We're going to start in a different path, because Prince John actually has a mental fortitude that can resist psychic manipulation.
None of that! None of that.
And that was when Prince John was mentally at his weakest spot. Him having mommy issues, going into that infantile state. So Prince John's mind is actually superior than to his older brother, who fell under that power.
And sent him off on that crazy crusade.
That's a thinker.
All right, what else does he have for power? Durability. He also has a tactful style to him.
How gracious.
Allow me to lay some protocol on you.
No, forgive me, but I lose more jewels that way than...
Look, when you watch the very end of the movie and you see Robin Hood and Maid Marian married, notice the background. That is King Richard's guard. So the movie is implying that Prince John fitted the army to his style. This is an army made by him. So the rhinos, the alligators, the wolves, and the elephants he strategically hired. And in a unique way, it's actually kind of clever, and I like it for that. The strategy to have henchmen in different styles is really clever. I can't help it. Their effectiveness will go into analyzing henchmen. Part of the power is henchmen, and he has an army. And more than that, he is ruling a kingdom. So he has vast amounts of sources to pull into. And he has the power. He has the means. He is making laws. He is making the tax codes. He is powerful.
Power.
So, yeah, with his power, I'm going to give him a 3 out of 4. I know some of you are wondering, why am I not giving him the full 4? It's the success rate of his henchmen isn't enough. Yeah, they did capture Robin Hood once, and it took Little John to save Robin Hood.
Not so hard, you mean thing.
The only thing they do for the rest of the movie is just arrest, and arrest innocent people into prison, where they're going to be nothing more than indentured slaves, and all they're going to do is to build the economy for Prince John. They are doing that. Okay, maybe Prince John's power deserves to be a 4. Everything looks different when you write it down, but when you say it out loud, it sounds like something else. Doesn't it?
That, I believe, does it?
March to Hell's Deep!
They have to be dependable and independent. It's a weird conundrum. I can trust on you and you have to be loyal. But if I put too much trust and dependability on you, how much of my power is my henchmen and how much power do I have when you remove henchmen from me? Do I still have power? Am I still effective? There's that side. And there's that independent side where your henchmen can be flexible. They can think on the dime, readjust, and keep the hero on their toes. That makes it an effective henchman. But sometimes being an effective henchman does mean you are, well, maybe to the point that you may rebel against your own boss. And Prince John's henchmen don't rebel. We kind of point out already they caught Robin Hood, which is good, and they are very effective at that. But when it comes to thwarting Robin Hood, Little John, dang it, there's a lot of Johns. Prince John, Little John, Honest John. It's hard to keep in track. They fail to capture them or keep them at bay. And Maid Marian's lady-in-waiting. And they aren't as really effective. So, I'm going to give them a 2 out of 4.
This is the flaw of Prince John's henchmen. Yeah, in Power, we talked about the pro of arresting everyone and forcing them to be indentured slaves. That is the pro of the henchmen. But here, this is the flaw. They can't capture the hero a second time. And as you can see, they aren't as capable. They can only do so much. Yes, in the climax, all the henchmen really keep Robin Hood trapped in the castle, and that helps them in the longer run of the whole analysis, but they fail to capture Robin Hood multiple times in the movie. You can succeed a lot, but when you have so many failures that outweigh the successes, it hurts you.
Well.
I've paid off all the witnesses, all the experts. I even have her attorney on my payroll.
And this helps us place Prince John on the groups, from the pathetic to the intimidating, and what's there in between. And his main act of villainy is
Beautiful, lovely taxes.
It may sound simple, but now that thing I told you in Presence that I said hit pause, we'll go back to that later. We're going deeper into it now, and why Prince John's taxes makes him a villain worthy of being in American Greed. When the movie ends, at the end of the movie where you see Robin Hood and Maid Marian marry, notice the people in the background. Look at their colors, but more importantly, look how they are dressed. They're a lot more well kept. They're a lot more better looking and a lot more happier and less gloomy. That is what the release of Prince John's taxes does. Throughout the whole movie, before the ending, the taxation created that environment. This gloomy depression has kind of weighed them down. And the way how everything is being presented is drab. That's what Prince John's taxes led to.
Forgive me a cruel chuckle.
This is everything going up to the song Prince John the Forty, King of England. But when he hears that song, what does he do?
Double the taxes, triple the taxes, squeeze every last drop out of those insolent musical peasants.
People have no choice but to leave their home. They can't afford their homes. Their taxes are going so much that they have no choice but to be arrested for not paying enough. They are in debtor's prison, Prince John's debtor's prison. And they are nothing more than a workforce. John is smart enough to realize he still needs his people, but he now has a free workforce that are doing everything for him without pay. You may be saying, Bullfrog, that's getting a little close to headcanon, right? You could, if you didn't notice this one little bit in the song, Not in Nottingham. He has a workforce, so he can have people do whatever he wants, and he can send it anywhere he wants. He has an army. He is cruelly effective. After he has achieved this vengeance on the people,
Sire, taxes are pouring in. The jail is full.
Okay. His vengeance on the people have been achieved. Side rant, but I don't think there ever has been a Disney villain we have analyzed where I had to say that sentence. Their vengeance on the people. So Prince John is waging a financial war against his own people. He now has them as slaves, still working for him, and he has to provide them the barest minimum to keep them alive. That leaves an awful taste in the mouth, does it? You know how sometimes things written down, when you write things down, may mean one thing, but when you say them out loud, gives it a different level? I think that's what just happened here. This has gone to a darker place, and all because of Prince John's taxes. This is the dark side of financing. It can ruin lives. It destroys people. It is an ugly thing. And Disney went there. And this isn't getting to the point where he had Friar Tuck arrested and plans to use him as bait for another trap to get Robin Hood. An innocent man doomed to die. If it wasn't for Robin Hood. And this is not adding on how he caught Robin Hood once and Robin Hood escaped only because of Little John.
You mean thing.
This is putting Prince John on a more darker scale. When you lay it all out and see everything, he's not what I had planned in the notes. Honestly, I give Honest John a low red.
Bravo! Bravo! Yes.
Whoa, didn't see that coming.
I didn't have it planned, but talking it out loud makes sense. He is a low red. With all that power, look what he does. Destroys. Ugh. But you may have noticed something in this video. We've completely didn't go near or didn't talk about or analyze the Sheriff of Nottingham. Why? Well, he feels like his own character. Yes, he's a henchman of Prince John, but he has an established power. He does his own deals. There's a unique story to him. And also, it feels like both of them are on two different sides of Robin Hood's coin. For Robin Hood's coin, there's brain and brawn. The brain to counter his is Prince John.
I could spot him through them phony disguises.
But the physical attacks that counter Robin Hood is the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Don't hurt me. No, don't hurt.
So the Sheriff of Nottingham is going to have his own video in the future. But until that time comes, this is the Bullfrog signing out.
The main reason why I didn't mention his throughout this whole video is because I'm an idiot. I completely forgot about him, and I was lost into the evil that is Prince John. But Hiss did help him achieve his goals and everything about ruling England. But Hiss doesn't really change the henchman. He's just the most intelligent of his henchmen and the most brilliant of his henchmen, but it doesn't change anything for the henchmen. Whatever you do, don't do a drinking game of how many times I just said henchmen in this PS video bit, because I don't want responsible for any deaths or drunk driving.